In this video, I will cover a versatile Excel lookup function, XLOOKUP, introduced in Excel 2019 version, which Microsoft described as a successor to VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP functions. XLOOKUP addresses limitations of VLOOKUP functions such as inability to search to the left side of the lookup array. Before the introduction of XLOOKUP function, lookup to the left side was achieved using complex nested formulae involving index and match functions. XLOOKUP has made it easier to look up to the right, left, up, or down directions, combining the capabilities of VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and index match combination. XLOOKUP is capable of returning values from multiple columns, unlike VLOOKUP, which can return only one value from one column. Let us see an example of XLOOKUP function. So my objective is to search a customer name in column E and return the customer code from column C, which is on the leftmost end of this data table. So I will update the customer name here and copy paste. So Exxon Limited. In column J, I will type the XLOOKUP formula. XLOOKUP. First argument I have to give is the lookup value, which is the value in cell I1. So argument I1, comma. Now it is a lookup array. So where to search for XCON? So it is in column E. So I will give the range, give a comma. The next argument is return array. So return array is the customer code, so which is in column C. So the return array I will mention here C2 to comma. There is an optional parameter if not found. So what is the message which we have to show if the value is not found? So we'll try say value not found. Double quotes, comma. Now it's asking for the match mode. I want an exact match. So I'll say 0 and search first to last. Default value search. Close the bracket, press enter. So it printed the customer code of XCON Limited, searching from right to left, and printed customer code. So if I type Canada Springs, so it will show cust 002. So XLOOKUP is capable of returning not just value from one column, it can return values from multiple columns, which is unlike VLOOKUP, which can return only value from one column. So I am going to print customer code as well as start date. So for that I am going to modify this formula using F2. So the return array is C2 to C30, which I am going to extend to column D. So my return array is from C2 to D30. So I am selecting two columns C and D in the return array. So let us see what happens. Press enter. So now it returned customer code in column J and also the start date of Canada Springs, which is 4th November 2020 here. So if I change it to XCON Limited. So if the value is not found, the formula which I have written, it says if the value is missing in this customer list, it will display this message whatever we have given here, value not found. So that is what it has shown because I have put a dot after limited. So I will edit this. So now for XCON Limited, it printed the customer code 008 and start date 11th October 2021. Now I will show you how to use XLOOKUP function to do a horizontal lookup, which we used to do using HLOOKUP function. So I will search for the quarter mentioned in cell C2 in this horizontal range of data and print the total sales. So I'll update the formula here. So I will type the formula XLOOKUP lookup value is quarter mentioned under C2. Where to look up for quarter? It is in this horizontal array. What is the return array? The value to be returned is total sales, which is in this range. I'm skipping all the optional parameters. Enter. So total sales for quarter 3 is 89,500, which is right. So if I change the value here to quarter 2, see what happens. Quarter 2, it is 78,200. As I told earlier, XLOOKUP is capable of returning values from multiple columns or multiple rows. So here we have printed only the total sales. That is only one row. So suppose I want to return cost of sales, gross profit, depreciation, all these values. I have to modify this formula. So the current return array I have mentioned is highlighted here. So only C5 to F5. So if I want to print all these values like cost of sales, gross profit, I have to extend this return array. So I am going to drag this so that it will change C5 to F5 to C5 to F13. So I am giving the entire range here as return array. And let us see what output it gives. I am pressing enter. So it searched for quarter 2 and printed not just total sales, it printed all the values here in here. See. So if we give this array as the return array, so wherever it matches quarter value, it will print values in that entire column. Now I will show you how to nest XLOOKUP function to do a vertical lookup and a horizontal lookup to print gross profit for quarter 2. So my objective is to print gross profit for quarter 2 by doing a vertical lookup in this data range for gross profit and a horizontal lookup in this data range for the mentioned quarter and print the value from the intersection of both vertical and horizontal lookups. So I will type the formula here in cell D2 is equal to XLOOKUP. So the lookup value first, I will look up gross profit. So gross profit printed here in cell D1. So I'll give D1, comma. So I have to look up gross profit in this data range, which is a vertical lookup. So I'll give absolute reference so that I can copy this formula by pressing F4, comma, return array. So return array, for the time being, I am going to hard code it. My return array should be for quarter 2. So I am hard coding the return array by manually selecting quarter 2 values, which is same as what we returned here under total sales. So I am going to give absolute reference by pressing function key F4. So I'm not going to give any optional parameters. I'm closing the bracket and entering. So it printed 36150. So 36150, it searched for gross profit and from this array, the intersection point is 36150. So it printed the value of the search point gross profit and the vertical array, which is 36150. Now if I change the quarter 2 to quarter 1, the values here changed, but this didn't change. It is still showing the gross profit for quarter 2 because I have hard coded the return array. Instead of this hard coded return array, I have to use the XLOOKUP function which is used in cell H2. So what I'm going to do is I am going to copy this XLOOKUP function which from H2, cell H2, copying, and I'm editing this formula by pressing F2. So I'm replacing this hard-coded return array for quarter 2 with the copied value. So that is the XLOOKUP function from cell H2. Now it has become a complex nested XLOOKUP function. So there is one XLOOKUP function inside another XLOOKUP function. In other words, the return array of the first XLOOKUP function is another XLOOKUP function. So it is very complex. That's why I showed you step by step. So I'm pressing enter. So it printed 25,000. So for quarter one. So gross profit is 25,000. So if I change it to quarter three, let's see, it printed 30,050. So quarter three, the gross profit is 30,050. So now I will copy this formula to these two cells so that it will print the net profit. So here it was D1. So here it is E1. E1 means it is searching net profit against quarter three and printing the net profit. So net profit is 24352, which is printed here. The next is profit. Profit, it is searching F1. F1 is profit percentage. It's searching profit percentage vertically and printing the value against quarter three. So 23.4%. So I will change it to percentage. So it is 23.40 percentage, which is same as here. So if I change it to quarter four, so it is printing 30,800 as gross profit, 30,800, 24,134 net profit, 24,134, and profit is 27.6%. Profit is 27.6%. So this is how you write a nested XLOOKUP function to do a bidirectional search, that is vertical lookup and horizontal lookup combined in one nested XLOOKUP function. That's it for now. Thanks for watching this video. Please click on like button if you find the information I shared useful and update comments. Also, please subscribe to my channel to get notified about new videos which I will post in future.